You most likely have seen the many Roblox Iceberg videos, but none are like this one. You see, this iceberg will uncover some of the most confusing and messed up Roblox myths of all time. You will see how insane and unnerving Roblox can truly get. From surreal life creepypastas to the saddest Roblox myths that make you ponder questions such as, what if Roblox wasn't a kid's game at all? This is the strange Roblox myths and creepypastas Iceberg explained. Jerry / the first player. Hi, I'm Jerry. Pleased to meet your acquaintance. The first player is, as the title states, the first person that joined Roblox. The account related to this rumor is a user Jerry, who was created in September of 2006. The rumor was originally created in 2014 when Kazdam uploaded his Roblox Myths forum post. According to the legend, it happened in 2004 and his name was Jerry. It was assumed that he was terminated for unknown reasons and replaced with the user Roblox. However, this myth was later proven to be false, as it turned out that a person with a username Jerry had already existed on the website, and not only was their ID far from being one of the first, but they also weren't terminated, and Roblox was released 2 years after Jerry's supposed join date. The actual owner of the Jerry account had joined the website on September 19th of 2006, and they still seem to be semi-active, as one of their most recent badges is from the game that was made in 2019, but he seems to have been banned in at least 2020. It is unknown exactly why Kazdam chose Jerry, or why he decided to make this rumor when the rumors about admin were already quite popular. After the creation of this, the rumor actually stayed quite small, only being mentioned when people reposted the original Roblox's Myths forum post. The most popularity which the rumor would achieve was when Enzo, a popular myth YouTuber, created a video on the rumor. This video, created in March 2017, briefly spoke about the rumor and quickly debunked it. As of writing this video has a whopping 122,000 views on YouTube. Hey, I absolutely love making these videos so much. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If you're enjoying so far, why not subscribe? You might want to see more videos like this. The faceless guest. Whoa, why don't you have a face? An unknown player who encountered the faceless guest. The faceless guest was an early fascinating myth during the early 2009s. The people who had encountered this myth has interacted with them once and never again. During 2009, an unknown player and his friends stumbled across a game that was named You Belong Here. This game was created by the faceless guest, and of course, the two players checked the game out of curiosity. The game contained a blood-red sky, several red mountainous rock landscapes, while creepy voices in the background started to play. The player's friend decided to dismiss themselves from the game since they had to do something. The other player decided to stay in the game to investigate the place a little more. As time passed, a guest joined who was named Faceless Guest. The player slowly approached the faceless guest and said, "Whoa, why don't you have a face?" As the guest stared at him for a long time, a silence flowing, and the player decided to leave the game, but he found out that he couldn't. The player did everything to leave the game. He rebooted his computer, he turned off the router, and such. The player waited for exactly 2 hours to exit the game. As soon as he left the game, his mother called him and found out that his whole family died. He heard a knock on the door as the police entered, seeing the player covered in blood. The child stated that he only played a Roblox game and did not do anything. The evidence for the police was that the child had prints of the knife and was fully covered in blood. This player was sentenced to life in a mental institution. Lord Beelzebub. Hungry. I'm always hungry. Lord Beelzebub Reference to his lord, formerly known as He Should Not Be Named, is a retired myth known for being documented by Flamingo and his game The Castle, along with the group Gathering of Followers. A few years after his success, he was exposed for heinous actions towards younger members of the myth community. His history is mostly unknown. He had 4 children. The style of his building seems to have barely any modern architectural style or modern technology, showing the myth takes place most likely in the past or in a community isolated from the modern world. It is known that he is a demon and the sin of gluttony, and he is immortal and cannot die. He also owned a kingdom called Gathering of Followers. Hangman. They are finally gone. Do not bring them again. Hangman is rumored to be extremely complex, future predicting model in Roblox that possesses artificial intelligence. Hangman is rumored to have predicted several events, such as Eric Castle's passing and the 2012 site hacking. Hangman was able to operate and keep a game server running for a year until Roblox moderators closed down the game he resided in. Hangman was discovered on January 1st of 2011 when an unknown player who created Hangman came to early myth hunters to have them look into his creation. The creator later returned to hunters after Hangman made a prediction of the creator. Hunters ignored this and blew it off as somebody wanting attention. However, after the creator had given hunters his personal information, it was discovered the creator had died from and the method used was. Hunters later discovered that Hangman was able to keep a server running in the game he resided in, and when he asked to make more predictions, Hangman gave hunters strings of binary numbers that translated to different predictions. However, Roblox mods eventually found out about Hangman, and he was able to keep a game server open, and they promptly deleted the game. There are rumors that Hangman has appeared in other games. These sightings have yet to be verified. Sarge Extreme Face. The Sarge Extreme Face was a face that was published into the Roblox catalog by Roblox on July 12th of 2012. It was featured in a YouTube video by Roblox entitled Preview Roblox's New Prototype Character Bodies, which released on the 15th of July 2012. After this video, the face was cancelled and will likely never be released due to the blood seen on the face, which at the time was uncommon. This face is very interesting in the fact that Roblox had planned on adding much more extreme faces on Roblox before being cancelled. Then this brings up the question, what if Roblox was changed and went a different route? What if Roblox stopped being a kids-oriented platform and instead Roblox would have become something else entirely? These faces were so uncanny. The entire Roblox community was so against these new faces. So much so, in fact, that Roblox would try to hide the fact that these ever existed. If you want to see the full story of the Sarge Extreme face, I made a full video covering the entire story of these faces. Zeltrek. Zeltrek is a Roblox myth who is known for supposedly being around since 2009, making him one of the oldest myths to date. It is rumored that weird things were happening with his account, and that he is a Satanist. This is further strengthened by the pentagram on his arm. Zeltrek is believed to be a Satanist, and the pentagram on his arm supports this belief. Zeltrek has multiple accounts, all names starting with Zeltrek and ending with another word. All accounts have a certain color to them. If you put all the colors in order, the descriptions combined spell out, which translates to, "It will be with him pretty soon. Praise him." Zeltrek originally joined in 2009 and was later terminated from bringing up the subject of Satan/Satanism a lot of times. In reality, Zeltrek was created on the 8th of April 2014. It was created by Kazdam, but that wasn't revealed until later on. Zeltrek had been quite inactive, coming online a couple times throughout the years to change his avatar and update his game, which is currently private. Zeltroki. Zeltroki is a popular myth who is known for his many games, most notably Cerulean and Downtown. It was 1972. A boy and his mother were taking a walk around a park walking a dog. After time passed, the boy felt curious, willing to look around while his mother was not looking. Being his curious self, wandering into the woods not far by the park they were at. The boy walked for a while and stumbled upon a great metal building deep into the forest. The door was open as if someone was in there. Without a thought, he ran in. No one was there. Wondering even more, he walked into the first room to the surprise of a man in a coat standing staring at him. Without a breath, he was knocked out. When he woke up, he was no longer a human, and he was an owl. Zolotroki became active and fairly well known in the myth hunting community shortly after creating his account. He made many games over the years, most of which were pretty straightforward and didn't have any ciphers or hidden teleporters. At one point, he got the smaller / up-and-coming myth rank in RMH, where he also had hosted hangouts and post links to his game to encourage people to visit them. But ultimately, he ended up being demoted in April 2019. He's been inactive since the 21st of November 2018. On December 6, 2018, a Roblox Myths intelligence agency agent named Diwali123alt wrote a brief investigation document of Zolotroki's games. Default is a creepypasta turned myth who is known for her game Black. She was created in 2013 and has been a known creepypasta since then, eventually becoming known as a myth due to users such as Kazdam. Default was created on the 29th of September 2013. On the same day, their game Pokemon Black, now known as just Black, was created. A day later, a post on the website DeviantArt, created by the user BoneMutt. This post included the original creepypasta for Default, and would likely give Default their first spark of popularity, as the post currently has 8.6 thousand views on the website. On the same day as the creation of this post, the game Pokemon Black would also be updated for the last time. After this, Default would become a known creepypasta on the Roblox platform, with multiple people reposting the original creepypasta and linking her account as early as 2014. Eventually, in 2015, she would for the first time be referenced to as a myth, when the controversial user, Kazdam, created a post related to his group, Roblox Myths. This post, which was created on the 3rd of January 2015, would include Default. After this, Default would be mentioned in other forum posts, notably by the user Rogue Rebel, who was a known myth hunter during that time. Later on, Default would be featured in the Roblox Myths containment facility, which brought them some attention, and would be one of the last notable things involving Default for a long time. This was until 2024, when the account suddenly came online once again. Prior to this, their game had been put under review for Roblox, likely due to the inclusion of Pokemon in the title of the game, which has previously been the reason for games being taken down on Roblox. During the return, the account would change the game's title from Pokemon Black to simply Black, and would update their game once. It is unknown what the account's owners planned for the account as of now. Vault 7. Vault 7 was a Roblox ARG series that took place around 2017. In its earlier years, Vault 7 was structured very differently than what you see today, as it contained cryptic text, blank and empty hallways, and a simple design. Notably, however, were the sudden appearances of the game's creator, Oculus Anubis, who made Vault 7, has not been spotted in over a year and a half and was last documented in Vault 7 on a surprise visit. Multiple games, decals, audio files, and accounts associated with the vault can still be found, but some might be lost. In Vault 7, the operating system appears to be a modified version of Linux. This system only has 5 executable commands. Dir is a nickname for directory. Help brings the player to a screen that shows all usable commands. Cat is a nickname for contents. Clears a computer. It's unknown how much this clears a computer in terms of progress. Root is a way to change the user permissions, and is unknown if there are other profiles that can be used in the root command. 7 will teleport players to a very interesting room, where they'll be unable to progress any further due to being soft-locked. Do not type this in if you want to make any progress. Currently, the only known files are Cat's News Report, which seems to be a newspaper segment describing an incident where several teenagers vanished while playing Roblox. Segnite is a well-known myth within the myth genre. He is a self-proclaimed guitarist and an alcoholic Segnite and his parents Forklack and his mother have parted ways. Although it is unknown why, both wish to find each other, but are unable to do so. After a very lengthy hunt to find his parents, likely spanning across years, Segnite creates a grave for the two of them, as he is beginning to imagine that they may have died. With this thought in his head, he turns to alcohol, regretful of the potential passing of his parents. Eventually, he meets Dax Haskett, who attempts to teach him how to play guitar. This gets Segnite's mind off of alcohol and into a better place as he begins to learn to play the guitar more proficiently. Despite making his own parents' grave, he refuses to believe fully that they are dead, and he continues to search for them both. However, unfortunately for his psyche, he will only find one. Mazurn. Mazurn, real name Marcus Mazurn, is a fairly popular myth known for his game Lake of Guilt. He is the brother of Connor Connards, who has been missing for about 50 years. Mazurn grew up with his brother Connards and two unnamed parents, possibly in the same cabin near Lake Huron, where he currently resides. On or around the 5th of February 1956, Connard's boat tipped in the water while Mazurn was sleeping. The article does not directly conclude whether or not Connard is dead. A memorial was erected in his name. It is possible Mazurn has served or knows somebody who served in the military. Evidence is by the presence of dog tags on his avatar. 777I, 777777, or 777I is a popular myth known for their game Hub, their affiliation with the group Subtraction, and the Flamingo Myth series on them. They now hold many games for Subtraction for easier access. 77I is mainly an account made for the sole purpose of keeping all relevant games from the group Subtraction in a single place that can be easily accessed. This essentially makes 77I have no story. 77I's account was made on the 27th of November 2019. His game was made on the same day and has received multiple extensions and revamps on the game during its lifetime. However, after a few months, he soon went inactive, along with the rest of Subtraction for a large amount of time. This inactivity would end on October 16, 2021, when GameHub had been revamped again and more games had been put on his profile for easier access. On November 20, 2021, a new game for GameHub, Acid Snow, was published. This later led to inactivity from the account and the owner. //group. //group is a popular group owned by Stream_2, the owner of Facility. This group holds all the members of the Stream Myth, and is a general group with not much activity. The exact story of //group is not known. It is believed that each of the Stream accounts serve a purpose for the Facility, which is run by Stream2. This facility holds very specific tests, which are all logged and recorded for unknown reasons. The exact purpose of these tests, or even what they are, is unknown. It is also said that there is a creature in the facility, although it is not known what the creature is. /Group was created on the 22nd of November 2018. The group was notably created after publication of Mr. Flimflam's video entitled Roblox Games ... that we weren't allowed in. The group was mainly used to hold the various Stream accounts and likely to publish announcements if they were to happen. Despite this, the group would be very inactive for a few years, eventually becoming active again in 2022. This resurgence in activity would come with an updated group icon, a new game on the Stream2 account, and new avatars for each of the Stream accounts. It is also believed that the Myths retired around this time, as they began to upload non-Myth games to the group, and the main game of theirs would now be mainly used as a hangout game for the players. Considity. Considity is a Myth group created by the Ruler of Nothing. This group holds many classic and old myths within it, while also adding some newer myths, such as Little Nathaniel, Mr. Riddlesum, and Samal. The main reoccurring theme of this specific group seems to be about exploration through the subconscious. The description of it is where the past and present come together. It also hosts new myths, and this is a reconnection between the old and the new, joining together into one. The lore of Considity centers around the harmonious joining of the universe. More specifically, an infinite plethora of dimensions that your soul can only access through dreaming, each dimension more abstract and surreal than the previous. It is possible that these beings from Earth can also create them with their subconscious unknowingly. It may also be possible that the dimensions have meaning and symbolism to them. For example, Little Nathaniel's games. Though it still isn't confirmed as of now, according to the webcomic, the dimensions are stacked like sheets of paper, with a physical world in between. Your soul can access the dreamscape through an abstract illuminated wormhole, whether to above or below, essentially bouncing up and down these layers as if they were an onion. There are also entities inhabiting them, either good, evil, or simply neutral. They also can enter other dimensions through invisible portals that are marked with an X. Written in ink can also be detected through technology. These X marks portals spawn when enough negativity is present in a certain area. The entities themselves, in symbolic terms, might represent an aspect of your own self. They may exist to call attention to certain qualities you are lacking. They can depict or exaggerate certain qualities as a way of focusing your attention on them. For example, the masked meat spear entity in attainment failure might represent Nathaniel's anxiety. They could also represent an occurring event itself too. For example, the Spearman, a humanoid entity in the group's games, who tries to save people by climbing a long ladder that countless people fell to their deaths from by paralyzing them. Some entities in the dreamscape can also represent your unfinished communication with them, and they may continue to appear in subsequent dimensions until a conflict is resolved. For example, the statue in Little Nathaniel's games, which is a symbolic representation of death itself. Again, it is not confirmed yet, so take this with a grain of salt. Ghosts also wander around the dimensions, oftentimes finding themselves in the physical world and realms that are more close to it, which possibly explains paranormal activity. For example, the maiden in Mr. Umbra's game. However, there's a very dangerous entity wandering around the layers and the realms, referencing Ewer Kebab, a being that many universes fear. It is depicted as a tall shadow-looking figure wearing a white mask and hiding a giant gaping mouth, similar to an O-face was spirited away. This entity is said to take its victim through a portal, where they are squished into a dark-colored stony cube. Another recurring entity in Considity is the All-Seeing Sun, a star giant with an X marked on it, which only appears on both the 2020 group game, the group icon, Open 2358's game, and in the webcomic. Its purpose is unknown, but it replaces other suns in the dimensions, acting sort of like a security camera, always constantly watching and keeping track of the dreamers and the dreamscape itself. It is speculated that the sun is being controlled by some sort of powerful entity or god, most likely everything seen judging by their name. As of 2024, it is revealed in both the webcomic and the official website that everyone in the group is trapped in a different dimension by the ruler of nothing, who uses their life force as energy for himself and his empire of nothingness. The only way we can save them is by progressing through the webcomic. Jomics. What lies and remains forbidden to never be opened and to remain hidden. Jomics is a well-known myth in the community, primarily due to his popular game, Final. He is friends with many well-known myths along with many well-known hunters, such as Tempress. Jomics created his account at the beginning of January 2010. The account served as a normal Roblox account for 7 years, until he began developing games for his myth throughout 2018. Around this time, Final was in its earliest stages, and Jomics had 2 other games titled You're Here and Back Then. Since then, they have been set to private and renamed Old Home and The Dump. These beginning projects attracted a small yet loyal community, as shown by some of those who visited, most often having clones in Jomics' game, You're Here. It is unknown when the 2 additional games were renamed and set to private. In 2019, Jomics' Myth, which now had its group and Discord server experience its golden era, finally was fleshed out, and the word quickly spread about the myth. It was around this time that Jomics truly began climbing the ranks in well-known myth groups, reaching coveted roles in Roblox's Myths, Mythman, and more. The surge of popularity continued into early 2020, and Final ended up getting a massive revamp that completely redesigned its landscape and added some new buildings. The beauty of the update was short-lived, however, as the Myth retired a few months later in May. In later time, the Myth had been revived a few months after its retirement. Jomics' revival brought among multiple changes. including but not limited to the retirement of most of the characters, excluding Blood Divine, John Lee, and Thomas Armfield, and a rename of the group. The myth flourished for the time it was active. In 2022, activity started happening in the group. A new Discord server was made, and a huge update was announced, which is scheduled to be released in May 20th, 2023. In 2023 to 2024, Final would become a lot more active, all the characters becoming active as well. Klaus Aconite. Klaus Aconite is a myth said to be a king. He is also stated that he is dead. It is stated in multiple scrolls laid out in his game that he cursed the crown of his kingdom, so no one else but him could wear it, even in death. He cursed the crown with a sickness that makes anyone who wears it fall ill instantly. Klaus is a king from 3,000 years ago, in a kingdom called Aconita, said to be killed by a magical flower known as Acontium, which is very poisonous. Diana, the Roman goddess of magic, experienced with herbs and poison, was a creator of the deadly flower. Klaus was supposedly killed by Diana with a cursed bloom so that Diana could take back the kingdom of Aconita, as she was its previous ruler. Klaus, furious that he was killed, manifested his anger by accumulating a great number of knights, paladins, and guardians under his command. After Klaus died, Diana ruled the kingdom again, until miraculously Klaus managed to return again, removing Diana from his rightful throne. The Hultis family. Impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. The Hultis family was a slightly larger than average family that lived in Grandview, Manitoba. When the Hultis family dawned, they originally lived in Denver, Colorado. Their founding father and oldest member, Ryan Hultis, created the myth in mid-November of 2018, possibly even lying traces as far back as 2016. Since then, the family has been in various feuds for power. They are a non-religious family besides Ryan Hultis and possibly Michael Hultis, them being extreme Satanists who allegedly performed extremely unethical rituals and murders. Sentinel. Sentinel is a Roblox myth known for his game Sentinel, being featured on Roblox in Myth Hunter's game Myth Places to investigate. Sentinel lived on 3 floating islands in the sky, known as Sentinel, with Benatorial and Rentatorial. They were created to protect the 3 islands by their father, until one day their father disappeared, leaving them to try and summon him back with sundials. It is unknown why, but Rentinol suddenly destroyed the bridges connecting the 3 islands, which costed him his life, being killed by either Bentornol or Sentinel. Sentinel and Bentornol then escaped underground into their bunker, waiting for their father to return. Sentinel created his account on March 14th, 2019, and created Centronon the next day. Thorn. Thorn is a myth who is known for her game titled Tome of the Great Oak. She killed herself in her game, possibly to do with something called Utanin. Similarly to Yuki, she gained recognition due to being friends with Lohai. There is not much information known about Thorn. Thorn is a girl that is dead due to being from an oak tree. She is involved with someone or something called Utanin. This is possibly a sort of ritual that Thorn is attempting to do. She only has one friend named Lohai. There is not much more information known about Thorn. Thorn's account had been made on October 14th, 2016, and her only game, Tomb of the Great Oak, was made a day later, getting its last update 2 days after the creation of the account, on October 16th. In late 2023, Thorn's game, Tomb of the Great Oak, was taken down by Roblox, similar to what happened to Lohai a couple months before. It is unknown exactly what caused the game to be taken down, but it's believed that it was related to the in the game. The Zazamara. The Zazamara is a Roblox myth who owns a cafe which seems to be from the 1950s. Not much is known about this myth, as his original story was lost. Although it is believed he is a deceased user whose ghost haunts his cafe, he has friended many popular people in the community, such as Gopherberry, Lisa, Corvus III, and others. The Zamara created his account on the 5th of May 2010. Prior to this, the Zamara had originally an account called simply Zamara, which seemingly was active in 2008 but was password guessed. This account would eventually be terminated, likely due to being password guessed, which led to the Zamara starting to be used. The Zamara Originally called Little Man B-Boy 10, began to be used in 2018 when the game Zamara's Cafe was created. The account was later renamed to Zamara V2, then X3 Zamara, until the final name, the Zamara, was decided upon. Upon the game being created, Zamara would consistently update his game throughout 2018 and 2019, befriending some well-known users such as Gopherberry, Lisa, Corvus III, and Aprik. Eventually, it would be revealed that the Zamara was owned by the controversial user Creepypasta, who was a known hacker, account buyer, and account seller. This led to the account getting suspended in Robloxian Myth Hunters Immortality. So as usual, my friend and I are playing a sword fighting game. We were just having fun, but I got an error after some time that I could not fix at all. The next day I opened Roblox, I noticed that I received a message, so I expected it to be from my friend. Then when I go back to check the message, I saw that the message was from my friend, but I got another one from someone else. I saw that the subject was creepy, and so is the message itself. The text was messed up, and some were upside down. I joined my friend and I realized that the error is gone. So I told him about everything and he replied, was his name Immortality? I asked him how did he know about him. He said that he had received that message too, but the subject said that he was next. My friend told me he wanted to message him a message to scare him out, but when he sent the message, he instantly received the message and he told me that it said, "This is just the beginning." And the message itself said exactly what he told me in game. He also said that Satan is his best friend, so me and my friend thought of investigating Immortality's account, and we saw that his friends looked similar to him. Also his bio was messed up, so I thought of joining his place and saw that it was the default place, but the sky was turning day and day was turning to night super fast, so I left. I told my friend to join his place, but when he did, he saw Immortality appear right in front of him, staring at him with his creepy smile. Can't you see how much a smile can hide? Immortality continued staring at him, so my friend said to leave us alone. Immortality only said, hee hee. My friend left right away. So you could tell by now that my friend is a victim most likely. After some time I investigated some of his friends and I noticed that his friends list is more like finished victims list. So I knew that my friend will end up in his friends list. But I cannot let this happen. One day later, I and my friend decided to block him to get rid of him. But he uses his finished victims accounts to haunt us more and more. At this time we thought of making messages friends only. He kept spamming our group's wall with creepy messages, and our places too. After that, he now targets our friends, so he can continue haunting us. 1% of players got messaged by Immortality. You could be next. Who knows? Vault 6770. Vault 6770 was rumored to be a secret exploiter facility, much like Vault 8166. It held exploits, viruses, and much more. Rumors quickly spread about Vault 6770 shortly after its launch. Vault 6770 was believed to be created back in 2012 prior to Vault Omega. It allegedly had infinite staircases that led to multiple vaults, but this was never confirmed. Only a few images and videos of the vault still remain. Unfortunately, the vault has been lost. Due to unknown causes back in 2016, the vault mysteriously vanished. The last thing captured from inside the vault was a raging fire. Red World. It was a normal day in Roblox. I was using my secondary account named Path452. I was laughing with my cousin while we played Wolf's Life 2. Because the OCs the other players made in there had always had cute or attractive in it, which means they look for online dating. We were laughing so hard because the chat was filled with "want to be my mate?" or things like that. But I'm not going to talk of Wolf's Life 2. I'm going to talk about something worse than that, much worse. So I was looking for interesting games. When I saw a strange person in Discord, he sent me a link to a Roblox game called Red World. The game was created by a user named Reed Star, and its thumbnail didn't seem really nice. It was a static red image with some black particles. I was curious about the game, so I entered. This is when the chaos started. First of all, the map was just a glitchy red maze with no actual exit. The audio was annoying, and it started with a singing, and then it cuts to some kind of woman saying something I can't understand, because the voice cuts in between. You can hear the audio and you see the video I uploaded. On top of the screen, there was an error saying, "You have lost connection to the game." But the text was all glitched. I knew this was fake, because the red rectangle saying the error was before the update. The new connection error is just text that appears in the middle of the screen. I went forward and then I suddenly got teleported on a different location of the maze. I kept going in random directions till I got some kind of room and the music changed. It sounded like a glitched screaming sound. Oh Jesus Christ. What I saw next creeped me out. I saw a flame. I couldn't see exactly what it is. I saw that it was coming after me. I almost jumped off the chair. I wasn't fast enough to react, and the flame caught me. I was too curious to see what the flame was, but the curiosity led me into a bad ending, so I guess I had this coming. After that, I got kicked from the game with the next error. Roblox has shut down this game server for maintenance. Error code 275. What? I decided to play it again. This time I didn't record it. I tried to avoid the flame, but it was useless, since it was too fast for me. When I hear the song, I know the flame is nearby. I try to dodge it, or do basically anything, yet it's still the same. There must be a way to avoid this thing. I just have to take different paths until one of them leads me to a different ending. I'll probably write again, this time showing what I see when I take different paths. Well, here's a video I managed to record, a minute of hell. This was only the first tier of this iceberg. If you thought tier 1 was crazy, then how much more insane can tier 2 possibly be? The Eyeless Man. Through blindness, I can see everything. The Eyeless Man is a hostile myth that was discovered near in the late 2000s. This myth has never come back ever since, but had a few interactions with certain people years ago. He stalks players in game and permanently blinds them unless they say his common phrase. This myth has never come back ever since, but has had a few interactions with certain people years ago. Players have often complained about a mysterious figure that stalks them from a distance, an eyeless man who follows them almost everywhere. No matter how hard they try to escape him, every game he joins, his username changes, but his appearance stays the same, and no one but the person he is stalking can see him. People indicated that they felt discomfort because they recognized someone staring at them. Though this myth is blind, he can still see every move everyone does. This man targets everyone and has no specific person to hunt down. Even if you try to escape him, he finds various ways to come back. Whenever he hunts people down and interacts with you, he commands you to say, "Through blindness, I can see everything." But when you decline his command, he can make you blind with just a flick of his finger. But when you say those exact words, he will stop bothering you. There is no actual evidence of the last time this man has interacted with anyone. The Black Room.
Decline 666 RM Foundation Database Login User ID. Password. Welcome, Hunter. Choose a file. Opening decline 666.
Black Room is a story about a kid and his friend wanting to play a prank on his little brother by building a black room that was inescapable once inside. After 16 hours of the little brother being in the room, the brother checked on the little brother, finding out that the brother was missing, but he was still in game talking. Decline 666 is a mysterious entity that is said to have enlightened users, in which they would enter a game, have their account go silent for an indefinite amount of time, only to resurface at a later date with an all-black appearance. Decline 666 and an unnamed sister appeared on Roblox sometime in 2013, and in the same year a random player encountered them in-game, in which their account went inactive for about a year. In 2014, when the account appeared active again, the player told others they had been enlightened and encouraged other players to follow them in-game, where they would supposedly meet Decline 666 and the sister. Most, if not all, the players whose accounts experienced the same inactivity didn't return the same way the first player did, instead had a completely black avatars, with a simple decline enlightenment in their bios. There are little to no traces of Decline 66 on Roblox in recent years, providing little to no information on friends, visits, or any of such. Most suspect whatever the myth was is no longer around. Admin was the first ever registered user on Roblox. The user admin joined on June 30th, 2004 with the ID of 1. Before the public release of Roblox, it was renamed to David.Bazuki, then to Roblox, then later to Roblox, and its username was given to ID 16, later 18. Before the account was terminated on October 9th of 2006, the account was terminated to the test of moderation that was implemented at the time, and banning the unwanted account could help check if it worked or not. It was created by David Bazuki to test account creation. Contrary to popular belief, the current admin account is not the same account as the one that joined in 2004, and was also not an actual admin. Before official username changes were introduced, join dates would be attached to a username rather than ID. This being said, the 2004 join date actually belongs to the user ID 1, but incorrectly shows up as belonging to the user admin. This glitch has been fixed at some point, and both admins and Roblox's join dates now show as 2006. Swinburne is an account made by Roblox admin Shedleski for the 2007 event where you could earn the Void Star. It has since been inactive after the 2007 event. In September 2007, Shedleski posted to the blog with an article titled "The 4 Mysterious Objects Revealed." Within that blog post, 14 Roblox members were awarded the Void Star gift box, which eventually turned into the Void Star. There was also an account named Mr. Alpha, which was also created by Shedleski, which did interact with players, giving clues as how to complete the riddle, and making the event more cryptic. The Mr. Alpha account, much like Swinburne, was also abandoned. Rumors spread that Swinburne was one of the first myths. That was hacked into. Accounts were banned, etc. However, these rumors are completely forged and fake. One may argue that Swinburne was the very first Roblox myth, given their personal beliefs on what a myth is. If their criteria are that a myth must be a character, usually cryptic or at least interesting, with an engaging narrative, puzzle, or investigation of some sort, and an atmosphere of eeriness or intrigue, then perhaps Swinburne is, in fact, a myth. Objectively, it can also be said that the event's debut of the Void Star hat, which is a symbol for many myths and particularly Noli, is also significant to the history of myth hunting as a whole. Half-Vard, aka Albert Samuel Walter, is a myth as well as a researcher, now jobless supposedly. His whereabouts are unknown, as he was to disappear sometime around late 2018, as he is declared as retired. Halford or Albert Samuel Walter, by what is said and known, his parents had been presumed to be murdered until the truth came out about how his parents died at similar dates. After a while, he went to high school and college, eventually getting a degree in science. In 1977, and or around that time, he had murdered 2 of his friends, Edward and Lisa Rose. He was then bailed out by his friend William, saving him from the death sentence he would have gotten if he was still in jail. Eventually, he became a researcher and scientist who worked with Alfred sometime in the 80s, as well as murdering Phillips Barrett, Jake Derrick, and Victor Maroon in 1984. Eventually, Halford discovered the realm and traveled there with his best friend William in 1993. In 1994, the beacon exploded and burned William to a crisp as Halford's house flew through the opening portals to Earth. His house crashed into a town 3 feet from the ground as he was damaged severely. Eventually, he was arrested 3 times across the 90s, up until 2018. He now resides in his old home, sometimes going to areas in Illinois to get mental treatment, but unfortunately never being successful. During this, he would continue his monstrous acts. He would start putting masks on the dead bodies that were kept in his house. The bodies in his house would be killed in various ways, but all have a different mask on them. Lucas Woods joined Roblox on April 24th, 2017 because his old account was banned and it was called Lucas ZZs. Anyways, he was playing Roblox and he was trying to make friends, but everyone called him a noob because he had a new starter avatar. Then everyone was telling him to die and threatening him because noobs are ugly, described by pro players, but he wasn't a noob. The next day, he went onto his computer and went on Roblox, and everyone was still threatening him and bullying him. So Lucas was sad, so he changed his avatar to a cool avatar, and everyone was still telling him to get cool. Later that night, Lucas was playing Roblox, and a nice person said to Lucas, "Hey, do you want a free Robux?" And Lucas accepted the offer. The person said, "Give me your account password so I can buy you Robux." Lucas gave him his password. The Roblox scammer went on Lucas's account and found the boy's information because his mom got Robux for him before and stole the Robux. Anyways, the scammer went on. Later on that night, someone rang the doorbell and Lucas checked who was beyond the door. The scammer grabbed Lucas and stabbed him in the throat with a knife. No members of his family noticed right at the moment. The next day, the man ran off, and now he's resurrected as a ghost and will get revenge on his past bullies. Bart Montgomery was one of the 3 doctors that founded the Mental Assistance Department. After meeting with Iceberg and inviting his former student Graves to work alongside him, they had begun to work around the clock on creating a way to cure humanity, immortality. While Bart Montgomery comes off as cold and emotionless sometimes, during research he actually deeply cares for the thoughts and feelings of others. He will refuse to go to extreme lengths for finding immortality if they are simply too painful for him to watch. A part of this care must stem from the fact that he is a father figure to Cecil and lost his wife as well. Bart is also highly intelligent, as the other 2 doctors he works with are as well. Once a professor of biology, he began dabbling with making modifications to the human body with his research at the Mortality Advancement Division, and some of this accumulates in his work with Cure number 43, a potion which, as mentioned before, calcifies human tissues. Baharti was an early Roblox account that was compromised in 2017. Similarly to the community in the Greg accounts, it was subject to a series of rumors mostly spread by Roblox YouTubers during 2017. Berhati was also known for supporting the John and Jane Doe March 18th theory and creating more similar hoaxes. A Doctor's Tale is primarily known for his renowned game Roses, featuring a clever and progressive storyline. Austin Rose, or better known as the Doctor's Tale, is the son of Maria Roses and Jacob Roses, who died when he was at a young age. He grew up in a small town known as Rosales. A Doctor's Tale started off ranked in RMH. He soon came to climb through the community's social status, earning large myth ranks in groups such as Mythmen's Myth Investigation Service, Robloxian Myth Hunters, and Roblox's Myths. Oasis Refuge. The Oasis Refuge is a small group myth created in early 2019 which themes around an apocalypse in which mysterious creatures have plagued the earth. The actual myths in the group are known as the Survivalists, while the Oasis Refuge is both their home and the name of their group/refuge. Tech Ami. Tech is a custom OS currently owned by Draino C and is the group for the Tech myth. Tech OS is a custom computer OS designed to operate any components in any device, no matter the hardware it is made of. It can range from something simple as a digital clock to the world's most advanced nuclear power plant. The OS is privately owned and has no access to internet and or the grid. It can, however, interact with each other over a distance wirelessly with a Bluetooth type signal, which no device except ones with Tech OS have installed. Shinus is a small up-and-coming myth who often states about how much he hates snooping and doctors, and he will act violently upon seeing any of these roles. He is friends with other smaller myths. In Shinus's place, A Look Inside, it is strongly implied that Shinus's parents died in a flood and he lived on the streets of an unknown city for an unknown amount of time before befriending Kay and killing a therapist. She-Us later moved into an apartment building, most likely to evade police, and has been living there until moving out after a myth group nearly solved him, calling them police, and a scroll found on his fridge. It was later discovered She-Us was living in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. The cabin is hidden behind a tall terrain wall, with the only entrance being through a faced door. The key phrase is home now. The cabin was discovered to have been burned down, most likely by Manitoba, as there is a note saying, Manitoba was here. Stroomy. Stroomy is a myth known for his games and story. Stroomy is lonely and a deceased 10-year-old boy who looks for some friends. Stroomy joined Roblox on October 31st, 2018, and created his first game on July 3rd, 2019. His second game was created on September 9th, 2019. Martineers. Martineers is generally regarded as a smaller myth, as lore revolves around wisps, which are lost spirits. A key figure in this myth is a place named Lovin. He has an alter ego that is called Excrenol. Martineers is generally very active on Discord and was formerly an agent for Roblox's Myth Intelligence Agency. He began his myth in 2018 and retired as a myth later on in 2018, while continuing to be active. Martineers is a caretaker of the Wisp. He resides in Lovin. The places are for the Wisp to wander and are based around emotions such as sadness, apathy, happiness, cheeriness, and others. It is theorized that Martineers is a philosopher. Fumi1982. Fumi_1982 is a recognizable myth for his distinctive retro 8-bit tailored games, as well as engaging myth hunters with their unique mannerisms. Often being investigated in myth hunts, Fumi in the 1982's group has gained a respectable fan base and position within both the Mythman and Robloxian myth hunters community. Guest Infinity. Hello, now I'll be talking about something scary that happened to me. Guest Infinity. I was playing a game that was said not to be played. The owner joined, told me, I'm pretty sure I said do not play. He left the game after. After he left, a guest joined me. Not any type of guest.
You got mail.
Guest Infinity. He said, you weren't supposed to play this? If I were you, I would stay away from Roblox. My face went blank on my avatar. I left the game and I decided to play Meep City. The chat was blowing up with, hacker, oh my god, haha, fake, lamau, fake. I was like, what's going on? For a second I took a little stare at the tab. Guess who I saw? Guess Infinity. He teleported to me. I said, oh my god, what do you want? He said, stay away from Roblox, kiddo. I kept playing. I got kicked from the game 10 minutes later. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. I got a message saying, why are you online? I told you to stay away. I freaked out. I logged out. And then I logged into my alt. I joined Jailbreak. Guess who came? Guess Infinity. He came up to me. You are not slick. I saw your profile telling me all of your alts. I told him, get away from me, never come back, you idiot. Get a life, rather than making people quit Roblox. The next day, I decided to check his profile. Error code 404. I was so happy. I guess he was doing it to other people. So that's my story of Guess Infinity. Thanks for reading. Anamamoose. Anamamoose is a Roblox account with an ID of 93,254,638. We don't know quite yet who created the account. His avatar is a blank Roblox avatar and it's different. It's not the Roblox 2015 default avatar, even though he joined in 2015. You might think he's a hacker, but no, he's not a hacker. He's an exploiter. He found an exploit that lets you friend anyone, including administrators, hackers, terminal users, etc. Now this glitch involved a script. This server-side script allowed him to change the ID of an in-game user to hackers, admins, terminated accounts, and the list goes on. This took place in logged service, or simply where the script execution took place. Now this method spread like wildfire, and tons of people began friending them, such as himself, 111, 8185, and much more. Soon later, Roblox found out about this and terminated almost everyone, including Anamamoose, since he's the main culprit. He's the one in the list too. 111. 11 is a Roblox account with an ID of 46,427. Now we don't know quite yet who created this account. Luckily he switched main accounts already, and now this account is mainly used for the forums and receiving messages now, based on his about bio. Majority of people think this account is a hacker, but why? because he's friends with multiple hackers and terminated accounts. The following list are all the terminated players he's friends with: 1x1x1, Admin, Ambusher11, Azul, Dignity, Lemon, LVRN, Minish, QA, Scar, and Zuka. 1-1 was also banned because he used the same method that Aminus used to friend all these other users. Okay, the last tier was just insane, but what happens when we enter into the extremely dedicated Myths? Funny Comedians 1. Funny Comedians 1 is a retired myth who had started gaining popularity in the myth hunting community in the beginning of 2017, leading up to June of the same year when he became permanently inactive. He's most known for his games Snowy Day and Springtime Cabin. Although Funny's account was made in 2012, he only started gaining recognition in the beginning of 2017. Around that time, he made a game called Snowy Day, which featured a house in the mountains. The description of the game stated that a railroad company had moved in, and you could see their dead bodies in the game. Snowy Day is similar to the next game Funny released, which was titled Springtime Cabin. The creator of the myth ended up abandoning it in late May/early June of 2017 for unknown reasons. However, when the myth was still active, its owner made a forum post explaining the story under the pretext of a personal theory. According to the post, Funny was born with a mental illness, either schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder, and his parents sent him to an insane asylum. He broke out of it, murdered the staff, and moved into his main place, Snowy Day. Nimoy. Nimoy is an old and not very well known myth, most known for having started a massive myth that includes Black Sundays and Wizard. Formerly, Nimoy was used in a forum troll account used by Big_Riggs. He would also speak about rumors at the time such as 1x1x1 and Noli. However, there is no official connection between Nimoy and these myths. Early adaptations of the Nimoy story, which at first only showed Dusk, were related to someone called Nim. On top of this, the other places made did not give anything to the story as well. Ultra Real and Wizard's games speak in the same code that Nimoy does. This code speech has been referenced to as Nimoy's speech. All the places and accounts favored by Nimoy are considered canon to his myths, and also have been proven to be made for the myths. Some of the places have shut down, while others include possible vague hints for what used to be, or just nonsense. Mr. Umbras. Mr. Umbras never had the time to do menial tasks such as cleaning. The house remained dirty. He hired a maid to clean his property. 5 years after hiring her, the maid committed mysteriously. However, after this, Umbras felt that something strange when the house was mysteriously being cleaned despite him not doing it. He hears tapping on the walls, but chooses to ignore them. He knows something has changed ever since she was gone, but he does not know why. He has begun to see things that he shouldn't be seeing. He has become delusional. Axis Cattels. Axis Cattels is a popular myth known for their ranks in big myth hunting groups and groups related to games of Axel. They are known to be the leader of a group called the Axel Project. The Axel Project is a project that mainly focuses on preventing an entity called the Growth. The Growth is known to be a large mass known to absorb planets and rain decay over many realities. Ascendant 1. Ascendant 1 is a popular myth known for their game Athens is Burning, as well as their several eras in the myth community. They first created their account in 2018 and has been a myth since then. Although they've changed their story several times, currently their myth seems to be about the Geisha Kingdom, of which they are the ruler of. Annabella. Annabella is a myth that has recently gained a large amount of popularity in a small amount of time. They're known for their game and their gruesome, down-putting story. Annabella Locks was born alongside her twin brother Polus to a mother who discarded her children. Annabelle, a sensitive child with a creative mind, was sent to an orphanage, while her brother Paulus was condemned to a life of grueling labor in a distant mine. Both siblings suffered in isolation. Annabella cast aside by her mother and mistreated by the other orphans, retreated into herself. She began drawing disturbing images on the orphan walls, illustrating scenes of violence and torment. Her fascination with carving and woodcrafting took a darker turn as she began decorating other children in their sleep, leaving eerie symbols and images carved into their skin. The caretakers and children never suspected Annabella, but blamed a boy named Ronald, who was eventually cast out. Afterward, Annabella laid traps for anyone who came too close to her secrets, dispatching the caretakers and hiding them in twisted, gruesome places. Abbistical. Looking through Abbistical's profile, the player can see the description states that they riddle with lies. The player doesn't know who they are. He's also in a group that only has him in it, and a role called Deceased. In his game, the player is in some sort of stone place with many beds and a library further away from the bed. This doesn't give the player much to work with, but they can get some sort of theory from it. Abjura. Abjura is a myth related to the district forces and Vigilant Virtue. They are a lieutenant general in the district forces and is supposedly an infusion of a golden toy. Abjura's backstory is largely unknown, as his games are quite abstract. He was born from nothing and presumably was created by a lone traveler to combat Salazar, explaining he was made to kill him, an omen. Pennypacker. Pennypacker is a retired myth known for their games about the past of their character, centralizing her as a small child with other children going missing along with her. Pennypacker's story seems to be mostly in the past, with her being a child in most of her games. She has gone through a rough childhood with her parents fighting and missing signs of her being posted. Presently, she has 2 children and has hinted that she is not going to live for long. Tupia. Sometimes I like it when red water comes out. I have the sensibility to flesh. I just can't resist it enough. Tupia was created by a deity called Ego Deities. Its power was taken by a race called Welsis. This is where he created Tupia, thanks to the fact that his mother was exiled from the same race because she was physically different from them. The mother of Tupia, Madam_Marble, makes a deal with Ego Deities, who creates Tempia to recover its power. While the deity created Tempia, he realizes that he does not have enough power to separate the evil of Tempia to another body, which means that he creates an evil alter ego. Tupia grows but has no memories of what happened in the past. On the other hand, his alter ego has the memories. Tupia is very innocent. He has no evil. He is compassionate, loving, patient, distracted, lazy, believes all of that is okay, does not believe in evil. He is very clumsy, he is careless, humble, kind, silly, friendly. On the other hand, the alter ego of Tupia is the opposite. He is always tending to everything, smarter and more intelligent, even manages to find the source of power of ego deities, but feels very lonely and decides to speak with her alter ego to create a family. The alter ego uses the source of power of ego deities to transform the Welsis race into Tupias. She started creating her huge family. When she finished creating his family, Tupia felt complete, but the alter ego of Tupia felt dissatisfied and began to create clones of Tupia. That's where the Tupia race was born. She begins to create these clones to exterminate the race that once rejected the Tupias. Withered. Withered is an old Roblox myth that is most known for his game Rot and his connection to Nimoy. Disaster Peeps described these accounts relating to Nimoy as all being a part of the Nimoy story, meaning Withered's game is also connected. It is unknown if he will return like Morgetta. As of December 2019, it was confirmed that all accounts involved were created by Big_Riggs and will not be reused again. The connection to Withered to Nimoy is solidified by the fact that Nimoy favorited Withered's game Rot. Despite Withered's life as a myth spanning multiple years, there has never been a solidified story within the game Rot, nor has there been a particular identification of Withered as a distinct character. If anything, Withered might represent the concept of withering or rotting away, as there are instances of black smoke and rotting buildings in Rot. Haunted Deli. Haunted Deli is a Creepypasta character originally created by Delicious Baked Pie. Haunted Deli has been seen pretty rarely and briefly in Food Orb games. Haunted Deli's appearance is the same body and character as Delicious Baked Pie, but in an alternative and corrupted version of him. He has eyes and a mouth that are made out of scribbles. He also is seen with a bloody tear on the corner of his right eye. Haunted Deli is only seen in a few games by Delicious Baked Pie. Some of them are Food Orb 14, Creepypasta Land, and in Haunted Deli's Dimension. Haunted Deli's first appearance was where he had a truth form that is in a decal that Delicious Baked Pie first made on July 30th, 2014. It originally had 4 huge spider legs forming from the bottom of the body, which is made of blood and flesh. It had dark drips of blood dripping from its legs. Its arms are still in the same place. It has a very dark background, temperature, and ambient, including almost an entire lobby to be corrupted. A dark corrupted version of Delicious Baked Pie's house can also be seen. If you look closely into the skybox, you can see a dark, creepy hotel room. Here's a list of some of the places that appeared in Haunted Deli's Dimension in the game, Haunted Deli's Dimension Exploration. The lobby, Haunted Deli's house, the prison, the toy store, the fortune teller, the clock tower, the room, downtown, the garden maze, Haunted Deli's birthday, the VIP area, and finally, last but not least, the VIP room edition, Vault Zero. The unfinished vault, also known as Vault Zero, was a Roblox meeting place and server used by a group of early myth hunters and exploiters. Used during the winter of 2006 and 2007, it was believed to be used for experimental purposes. First built in November 2006, the unfinished vault organized as a base plate devoid of features. However, as more strange occurrences swept Roblox, it turned into a meeting place for the creator and a group of friends to discuss the development of new technology within the platform. In the winter of 06-07, the unfinished vault was involved in the study of the strange phenomena known as phantom posts. It is also responsible for testing experimental scripting, some of which may have been used as a base for early exploits. Somewhere around this time, the vault was moved to a special holder account. By mid-2007, it was planned for the unfinished vault to be completed and turned into one of the most high-quality Roblox places. But before this could take place, nearly all traces of the vault and its holder account disappeared, and most forum posts about the vault were deleted after the first minute of posting. It is unknown what truly happened to the vault and its user base. Some think that 1x1x1 may have been associated with the vault and its disappearance, while others think it may be related to their research into the phantom posts and other anomalies. Regardless, it is generally believed that something sinister is at play. It is unknown if the unfinished vault is related to the Vault 8166 rumor, but it must be recognized there are notable similarities between the two. Vault Omega. Vault Omega is one of the more known vaults in the Vault community. It was created by an unidentifiable script in 2009 and contained files, viruses, scripts, data leaks, and more. Vault Omega was created in mid-2009 and used with the purpose of storing scripts and files, originally being made as a backup for unknown media source, but reused with the purpose of being the main vault until 2012, when Vault 6770 obtained its title. The vault supposedly served as an underground transportation base and was located underneath Vault Upsilon and just above Vault Omicron. It is a place of many tunnels, with 2 of them being connected via a train track. One of these tunnels is typically where the train is stationed. Since the detector cannot be reset, anybody trying to access it through the train must glitch out or utilize an exploit. The cause for this is the fact that it is stranded inside the tunnel. The fence that covers the tunnel can, however, occasionally be broken through by the train. It can pass through if someone else in the vault opens the gate. The train behaves like an NPC. If it enters the other tunnel, it returns to the first one. Confusion. On January 3rd, 2008, a user found a bug in the Roblox system which compromised 2 Roblox users by the names of JJJ and Lego. This event left both accounts terminated forever. Keep in mind that this glitch has been patched long ago and has not affected anyone to this day. The Games tab on Roblox back in 2008 consisted of many different games. Unlike today, the Games tab changed its games daily, so finding a new game to play was not a hard task. However, on January 3rd of 2008, the Games tab showed a very strange game that caught many users' attention. This game is called Confusion. with a thumbnail which appears to take place underground. Underground battle games were a Roblox trend back then, so people were more than happy to see another one show up on the front page. The creator of the game was a user named W, a user with only one character. No one knew how to get such a name. The account was created in 2006, which led many users to believe he found a glitch in the system, when Roblox was not a very secure website. A couple people in the forums talked about the strange occurrence where some people believed that this was a glitch, some believed it was a hack, and some thought it was spaces in his name when spaces were still available. A Roblox moderator known as Wukong said, "I and a couple moderators will look into this occurrence," he said in a temporary pinned forum post. The game itself appeared nothing too complex, simply built mountains and white spears spammed everywhere. Many people in the game talked mainly about the creator W and didn't explore that game that much. One user named JJJ decided to check around the game. He said in a forum post after the incident, "I decided to kick around the balls, cause why not? One of the balls had a darkish gray tone, standing out from all the white balls, so I decided to kick that one. And that's when it started going downhill." When he touched the ball, he was teleported to a black box with a lightning script that went off every couple seconds. Nothing new, this was a common script used in horror games back then. In the corner there was a brown glowing rectangle. It was about 2 studs high, 2 studs wide, 1 stud thick. JJJ explained in his forum post, like any Robloxian would do, he walked towards the box, but before he could touch it, the game froze, which forced him to restart his computer. But after the restart, his computer became slower and slower until it wasn't functional. Another user named Lego experienced the same thing a couple hours after JJJ. Lego was not an uncommon face in the Roblox forums. He was known for ranting on the forums, mainly about people who spawn killed / team killed him in his favorite games. When Lego joined the game, he first talked about how the game was a lie and wasn't a cool game, but he later decided to walk around and check the game out. And well, the same thing happened to Lego as what happened to JJ. About 2 hours after Lego joined the strange looking game, the game was shut down, and then W's username was changed with the content deleted. However, W was not banned. He was online for the most part and even replied to a couple of forum posts from people who talked about this strange event. At around 9:30 p.m., Lego's avatar was changed to look like JJJ's avatar, and both users posted many forum posts with titles like "Roblox is doomed" and "Escape is no more." On January 4th, 2008, the day after the incident, JJJ, Lego, and W were terminated. Many people believe that JJJ and Lego were compromised, while others believe that it was a massive prank resulting in terminations, due to the fact that this quote-unquote prank caused a lot of controversy. Many people after the incident claimed that they were also hacked because of this game, but most if not all, these claims were fake. This unfortunate event eventually died down as Roblox warned people that if they talked about it, they would be banned. In February 2017, Lego's data was completely wiped from the site, and the username Lego has now been taken by another user. It is now 2021 and has been over 13 years since this event took place. Users can honestly say that Roblox had made a full recovery from this. Although it is unknown whether or not Lego and W returned to the site, JJJ returned about 2 months after the incident on an account called JJJ2, only to be temporarily terminated due to talking about this event. He was later unterminated, but JJJ has not since returned. Now I've experienced the extremely dedicated myths. Now let's move on to something different. Who were the very first myth hunters? Betsy. Betsy is a very popular myth who is well known for their games and overall story, as well as their affiliation with the Nightfall Time group myth. Betsy is the oldest of 3 queen bees in the Nightfall Time myth, each queen ruling over their own hive. Her hive is the Yellow Court, a court which she inherited from the previous queen who created it. Though a competent leader, an increase in the use of pesticides and an infestation of enemies such as spiders became the catalyst of Betsy's downfall. She was able to take her kingdom back, but soon after a war broke out in which neither the bees nor their enemies won, resulting in a bloody carnage and the fall of several hives, including the hive of Betsy's sister Beatrice. A wooden spider was born out of the aftermath of said war. The garden and the house now are in ruins and taken over by insects and spiders. Betsy currently rules over this kingdom despite the conditions, using pesticide-possessed beings from other realms to expand the kingdom, and using a black substance that comes from them as honey. Amelia Gard is a young woman who has a husband named Arthur Gard, who wasn't treated well by Amelia. Her story is set in France when the Second World War occurred. Amelia has a huge addiction to tea and will do anything to get her hands on it. Amelia Gard grew up in France with her parents, who were in an abusive relationship. Not long after, her father shot her mother and fled to Paris immediately, leaving Amelia to fend for herself. Growing up on her own, she discovered her love for tea and soon couldn't live without it. She then found her first partner and was in a happy relationship. But one evening, a fight occurred that ended with Amelia being shot in the head. She woke up in hell and met Satan himself, giving her a second chance in life on the condition that she would return as a cannibal. Amelia returned to Earth as a cannibal and started to devour rich men, so she could access more tea. However, her recent partner named Arthur Asgard soon found out that she was a cannibal and knew of her plans to devour men. He placed various hints around her study for others to try and find the truth. Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood is a 6-account created for the Nursery Myths, being made on July 23rd of 2015. Little Red Riding Hood is actually not a part of the Nursery Myths despite being created during the same time frame of other Nursery Myths. Them having the hymn model in their inventory and seemingly being featured in Father Grimm's game, Meeting of Minds, it is possible that the account may have been introduced later on, but it has not been confirmed. Manitoba. Manitoba is the brother of Grailed, and is the alleged killer of Grailed's son, Cranius. Manitoba is currently on a mission to kill all those associated with Grailed. This began with an attempt on the life of Martineers. Manitoba has a psychopathic and homicidal tendencies. He killed Grailed's son, Cranius, by stabbing him. He seems to hate his brother with a tremendous passion, so much so that it has caused him to ensue a murderous spree involving anyone associated with him. Manitoba tortured Martyrs both mentally and physically after he found out that he was not only associated with his brother Grailed, but attempted to further prevent him from causing any further harm to the next possible targets. Manitoba did this by traveling to Levin and collecting wisps, and then freezing Martyrs and Grey as they watched in horror as he let them burn and wither away. Manitoba was also somehow able to possess Grailed's body and use it as a host to wreak havoc on Martineers, Cogdenside, and others who came to the woodlands. A similar episode occurred when he possessed Cranius, who is also a ghost, and nearly destroyed his body. Miondu. Miondu is a recognized trigger myth, known for his unique game, Inertia. He began his myth in 2019 and quickly became popular, befriending many popular myths and hunters. Miondu is in a coma. You traverse through his mind as it gives you tasks to complete and ways forward through his mind, eventually bringing you to the gateway of consciousness. You have a choice, and that choice decides whether Miondu wakes up or whether he dies in his sleep. The Weird Thing. The Weird Thing is one of the earliest myths to ever exist, being the first to have a surviving video documenting it. It was created on December 7th, 2008, when AquaJets316 uploaded his video titled Roblox Myth Investigators, Case Number 1, The Weird Thing. The Weird Thing appears to be some sort of gray figure. Figuring out exactly what it is difficult due to the fact the video it originates from is extremely pixelated due to its age. Judging by the comments of AquaJet316, this presence is not a consistent object and doesn't spawn in every time you play that game. According to the description of the second game, the mysterious object was in fact caused by a glitch randomly spawning in an NPC model. Other comments claim that the ghost was just a glitch by Roblox's lightning engine, causing more than one shadow to appear from a singular character, phantom posts. The word phantom post is used to describe a broad type of spectral phenomena occurring on the Roblox platform, especially the Roblox forums of times past. All phantom posts share the following traits: blank title and post, blank username giving appearance of no poster, poster join dates listed between January 1st of 1970 and January 19th of 2038. Poster avatar is either a solid color, does not appear at all. Phantom posts have been discovered spanning from the alpha stages of the game in 2004 and 2005, and all the way up to the removal of the forums in December 2017. Phantom posts are benign in nature and do not cause any adverse effects to those who encountered them. Nothing is known about the motives or cause of the phantom posts. Phantom posts occur in clusters, where heightened amounts of phantom post instances occur before returning to normal rates. Phantom posts have never manifested as replies. The highest amount of confirmed phantom posts date from the winter of 2006-07, being 14.6% above average. Another unusually large manifestation of phantom posts has been dated to September of 2013. A subject of considering the users that post phantom posts users at all is a subject of debate. The users have completely blank names and do not seem to be part of the actual user system. Searching the Roblox website for traces of these mysterious unnamed users has been unsuccessful. Attempting to directly access a forum user profile page also usually results in failure. On the contrary, multiple users have reported success in viewing a user profile, but there is only a single verified instance of this. Automated system theory. Some have considered the possibility that phantom posts are some sort of internal maintenance system checking the working order of Roblox. The Pit. Some weekend in 2008, I decided to play Roblox. I went to go choose a game to play. I found some very interesting games. Can you survive a water slide into lava? Command and destroy, Pilgrim Island, etc. However, I ended up finding a very strange game. Its name was The Pit, and the thumbnail didn't show anything from the game, just TV static. I was very curious, and I started to join the game. It didn't take long for the game to load, and it was already pretty weird. The sky was black and the map was just a green base plate. I looked around the base plate and ended up finding a giant pit. I thought there was something down there, so I decided to look at what was down there and approached the pit. But then, something unexpected happened. Suddenly, a player named 1x1x1 entered the game. That's when the base plate turned from green to black. Very strange music started to play in the background, and now I could hear storm sounds. I was kinda scared. Suddenly, 1x1x1 told me to jump. I literally had no idea why, but I decided to obey. I jumped into the pit. After I jumped, everything went dark, and I couldn't see anything at all. After a few seconds, the game automatically closed. Something that never happened when I played Roblox. I went back to the games page, but I barely came back, and after 1 second, the page reloaded. A message appeared on the screen. I was shocked by the fact that the message said that I was banned from the game. The worst thing is that the reason said was, "You are not welcome here." It was a while not knowing what to do after what happened. I couldn't believe that dang pick game got my Roblox account banned, but after some time I found out that I could make a new account, so I created one. I still play Roblox to this day, but I'll never forget that day. I tried looking for that game again, but I never found it. The game has likely been banned from the platform. I tried finding the user 1x1x1, but I could not find him. He was probably banned, so he could have been a hacker, and he was the one who banned me that day. Later on in 2020, I found out what happens next if you go into the pit and wait there before its static loudly plays. I ended up getting teleported to a game called The underscore corridor.avi game.
Well, you made it. Congratulations, I guess.
Now you know who the first myths were, but now, what's gonna happen when we enter into the abyss?
So now you must pass one final test to prove your fortitude or dedication or something.
Natasha, aka Boolene, is a retired myth who lives in Nabita Springs, Louisiana, and is accused of murders that happened in the town. She is the mother of her adopted daughter, Mass_Newt. Natasha was born in New Orleans, Louisiana in 1941. She had a wealthy family. When Natasha was 7, her father passed away, so she only had her mother until her new partner became her stepfather and helped raise her. Natasha later got into Louisiana State University, where she lived with her brother and her older partner. Mid-year, Natasha volunteered as a field physician and an intelligence officer in the Vietnam War. After volunteering, she found out that her partner was dead. She eventually moved on and started to work at a hospital. She met a girl named Mass_Newt in the hospital and decided to go adopt her. Natasha, her brother, and Mass_Newt eventually moved to Abita Springs for a better environment and quality of life. They bought a building to make a clinic for Natasha to work and for her brother's diner, Krall's Diner. Eventually, Natasha's clinic was shut down due to accusations of her murdering people around the town. Capability of war. He has a deceased wife named Charlotte. He also has 2 kids. They are Roy and Sol. He does not treat them very well, along with his wife. My mind. An actual real creepypasta. Do you know this guy named Bad the Bloxer? If you do, I am that guy, and you might be wondering, what does that have to do with anything? Look at the title of this video. But how would someone's mind be creepy? Look at this picture. This is what I think my mind would be like if I were a Robloxian. But why is there the gory? Well, it was because of an event that happened in March 2014. It was one quote-unquote normal afternoon playing Roblox when I noticed something. I looked like a noob. My saying was gone, and profile description said nothing. But there was one group that controlled my account called THT. My avatar said this. Sadly, I couldn't do anything. The creepy part is every time someone commented, a body part would turn red. When my whole body turned red, I was frozen. Not in game, in real life. All I could move were my fingers, my eyes, my mouth, yet I couldn't talk. After this, my body turned black when people commented. People were scared, crying, and my friend Roblox got nightmares. Does that explain Nightmare's name? No. Nightmare would speak like a demon first of all. For example, take a look at this. I translated it and it said, "You are a mistake," to my friend Rebloxicon too. Luckily, people in the THT knew me quite well, so they knew it wasn't me doing this. They tried hiding at one of Reblox's servers, but Nightmare followed them, but I controlled my guy. Next morning, I went back on my account and I saw all my places shut down but one. My Mind, it was titled. I went there and I saw a bunch of bricks with decals on them, but they were pictures of my nightmares. My friends came, but they were scared and terrified. I couldn't help them. I was frozen, I was sick and dizzy. Was I dying? I don't know. But then it all stopped. There was one person not scared, not frightened. He told me to stop. I was able to move again. It ended like that. It didn't take much, did it? But recently I saw something. He is back! My nightmare is back! Haunted Thomas Fan 099. Thomas Fan 099, also known as just Thomas, or in the past Sir Egghead III, is the main hero in the Wrath of the Bomber series, and the creator of it as well. He's a Robloxian with a red and white striped egg as a head. He also wears a blue suit and a hat, and he even has a pet snowman named Jerry. He is also the guy who made WOTB and the other adventure games like Revenge Orb and Weirdo Orb. He's a bit of a weird one, but he's a nice guy nonetheless. He's also actually half robot. Not sure how that works, but we gotta think of some kind of bio for this guy. He owns a weapon called the Diamond Rampage. Not much of it was seen in action, so there isn't a lot to say about it. He tries to act heroic at times, yet he also has a bit of anger issues, depression, anxiety, etc. But even these issues, he still won't go down easily against Bomberfan and the other villains. You might be wondering why this entry is here. What's so disturbing about this entry? Well, I thought the same thing until, while researching Thomas, I went deeper. That's when I realized why this was here. Friends of the creator of the Wrath of the Bomber series, Thomas Fan 99, had passed away in 2018 from a seizure in the hospital when he was only 17. Yeah, I had no idea about Thomas when I decided to start covering this Iceberg, even though there is activity on his account, updating his game from 4 months ago, but there's no concrete proof that this is Thomas or not. I even found some people debating this in the last upload on his YouTube channel from 6 years ago. But unfortunately, it was confirmed by Thomas's real-life friends that Thomas is no longer with us. Rest in peace, Thomas Fan 99. I guess some things aren't meant to last forever.